Old business, consideration of a temporary use permit number 11-008 over the river. So I would like to turn now to Planning and Zoning Director Bill Giordano for a brief update.
This is to kind of get a little status of where we're at, how we got here. Obviously, from the very first, the department had prepared a list of conditions that were given to the commissioners at that time. Obviously, after public input, a number of meetings, discussions, phone calls, conversations, whatever you want to say, a lot of time's been put into it. Staff has prepared a resolution, final draft resolution for the board's consideration in the TUP application for the Over the River project. I would note that obviously we've refined this resolution from what originally. This resolution does contain findings and conditions. Basically, again, through all our past public input that we've received, and that was all taken into consideration. So I would note that when I talk about staff putting this before you, this was basically Brenda's office. Thanks to Brenda, she did most of all the legwork. She did prepare the resolution with very little assistance from our department. It was basically prepared by them. Other than that, I'll answer any questions that there may be, consideration of this resolution that I can be happy to. Other than that, unless there's something else the board would like me to bring up, kind of keep it brief. This is a normal process of preparing the resolution at this stage for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the board? Okay. At this time, I think it would be wholly appropriate to ask the Over the River Corporation if they have any final words for the board.
Good morning. Lori Potter on behalf of the River Corporation. We simply want to thank the board and staff for all the time that you've invested and attention you've paid to this. I think it's been a very thorough, fair process, and we're happy to be here today to do your deliberations and decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, we have before us resolution number 18, a resolution for the temporary use permit, file number TUP 11-008 for the Over the River Corporation, which incorporates findings A through R, as well as conditions 1 through 35. Resolution 18.
Get the ball rolling here. Madam Chair, I move we approve resolution number 18, temporary use permit for Over the River Corporation.
Second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded to approve temporary use permit 11-008 for the Over the River Corporation. Further discussion?
Madam Chair, I think we have copies of the resolution that can be distributed if, I don't know if we've got enough copies for absolutely everyone. We've got copies. And if I could?
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like to make a few remarks about the permitting process that we've gone through. I think when folks look at the copy of the resolution and compare the conditions today to the conditions that were before us at the February 1st public hearing, they'll notice a much more comprehensive list of conditions that have been set forth. Like any major application, we first had a set of recommended conditions from our planning staff. And then after receiving the public comment, the commissioner suggested changes and added a number of our own conditions. And once the commissioners provided input and the staff put together draft language, we got reaction and feedback from the applicant on the draft language. I again say it was draft language, which was what we were discussing at the March 6th workshop. And then we eventually ended up with the conditions listed in today's resolution. Board of Commissioners also had extensive discussions as to what authority we have under a Fremont County temporary use permit. While there are many potential impacts, in many cases, we recognized that the jurisdiction over many of those areas belong to other state and federal agencies. In areas where we believe we have no jurisdiction but still have serious concerns, we used our list of findings in that document to draw attention to those concerns by other agencies. Or we have stated an expectation that those issues need to be resolved to our satisfaction in the event management plan. The conditions listed in the resolution are the result of a detailed examination of how over the river would impact law enforcement, medical services, traffic impacts on county roads, wildland fire response, accessibility from county roads and private drives onto state highways for businesses, ranchers, and local residents. And many of those conditions directly reflect issues raised in testimony or written comment. The conditions are not intended to be punitive to the Over the River project, but only to recognize the potential impacts to Fremont County and assign reasonable responsibilities to the Over the River team. I believe we've been as fair and as thorough as possible to everyone. That's my only comments for discussion. I would like to reserve an opportunity to comment further after the vote.
I think, just to let you know, I believe all three commissioners will have comments after the vote is taken. Further discussion?
I have a comment. I'll probably kind of repeat this, but this is kind of interesting for me to even make the motion here because I was opposed to this up until Thursday. And the reason that I was opposed to it up until that time is because of the concerns that I had heard. We'd heard and I found and reviewed, and the concerns I had myself, in addition to those of the citizens. But interestingly enough, and I didn't think we had done a sufficient job in addressing those concerns. And what I find is interesting is that once we have the final document assembled and reviewing the final document, we've addressed the concerns in my mind. I think we've addressed the concerns of the public, each and every one. It wasn't easy, but I think we've done it. So that's my